All right, so why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your role at WCI?
Okay, I'm Binda Freeman, and my role at WCI has been field officer role, and I've played this role for a number of years since 2011. And basically, we're involved in providing trainings to women groups. And some of these training included business training, leadership training, organization development skills, uh, value-added agriculture training. And since 2011, we have been doing that. Up to 2014, when Ebola came, the program kind of switched towards a focus on Ebola. And we work in Mark Duby and Bon County with the Ebola teams. And then in 2016, 2015, 2016, I also work in Grand Bassa County, managing the Ebola work on that side with WCI.
Awesome. What initially drew you to WCI?
Uh, for a good number of years, I've had a passion in working with women groups because around the country you notice, not even the country but around the world, you notice that women are mostly marginalized. And in my role, I think it's special when you work with women because you are able to help them define their own roles. You're able to help them to become themselves. And I feel I can contribute better in that capacity. And that's what drew me. I feel a great passion working with women groups.
Fantastic. Did you have experience working on an international level before?
Oh yeah, I've worked with several international groups. I work with Save the Children. I work with the ICRC, the International Community of the Red Cross. I also work at Action Aid before coming to WCI.
Great. Describe your experience visiting rural communities throughout Liberia with WCI.
Ah, great. Um, Most of the communities are similar. You will kind of see the same issues from community to community. Um, you will see the needs in these communities. You'll see people who hardly drink safe drinking water. You see people who walk distances to get to get access to medical attention. And this is not different from community to community. Around Liberia, in the villages, you will see that there's so much that the community need, to reach the level of people in the urban areas. And in working with these people, you sometimes identify the problems and there's just no way you can even help to solve it. But at least we've been there and working with them is very much interesting and we are able to report what we see.
Well, so what drives you to help these people in the communities? People that you might not know, or people like, or communities that you've never been to?
Ah, what drives me to help these people? Firstly, like we really say, if you continue working with women and women groups, you know, the women are basically running the home as compared to the men. And the issues you want to discuss, as per your term of reference to those communities that you go to, maybe you want to hold a women meeting because that's the job you went there to do. And the closer you get to them, the better you understand the workings in the home, the workings in the community. Because if you put them along with the men, you will not get the issues out. But once you have a focus group discussion with women groups, for example, you are able to get the issues out and you're able to better do the work that you went there to do.
Okay. What's been your favorite part of this job so far?
Oh, the trainings are very good. When you do the training with the women, you know that you have come from one point to the other. If you do a training, say in August this year, and you return there to do maybe phase 2 of that training in November, you're going to surely recognize that these women have left from where they were and they have grown up. because of these trainings. Okay, take example for the business training we're providing the women. A lot of the women were doing businesses without noticing that they were not earning any profits, and they just continue. And when this continue in the villages and communities, all you hear them saying, my business has been witched. There's witchcraft behind my business. They don't want me to grow. So they stole my money, and they will attribute all the losses to witchcraft activities. Whereas they have just made some mistakes along the line. And that's how their businesses are not growing. But when you work with them from phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, you get to know that they have changed and they are now real business women. They're able to sell and make their own profits and help support their families.
Do you have any funny, special, or interesting stories from your work that you'd like to share?
Oh, yeah. One special one was when Ebola came. We were holding meetings with women groups again. And in one of those meetings in Banga, what really touched me was a story coming from a particular child who was a victim, or she lost her entire family. And but she was able to tell the story how she was there. It was she and her sister at one of these Ebola centers. And she explained how her bigger sister, because the sister refused to take the necessary medicine that was being provided, she told her little sister, if you take that medicine, the people will kill us. They're bringing this medicine, they want us to die. So the little sister who survived now said, no, the people want us to live. That's why they're bringing it. She said, go ahead, take it. So it was that sister who survived that continued to take the medicine as a king. The bigger sister refused. And in a couple of days, she passed out. So this little girl was there. She's around 15, 16. And she said she managed to survive. She spent, I think it was 19 or 21 days there. And she came. She left Kakata at the Ebola Center. She came to Banga. And because of the stigma, she told her story. And every time she tells her story, people will fear her, people will, kind of get away from her. But she attended one of our sessions and was able to explain. And this created a lot of emotion in the training we're having. And a lot of the women saw this as a strong woman who were able to survive. Her mother died, her father died, her sister died in her hands. And yet she was able there to be standing there and explaining and letting the other people know that they can make it too. And she finally began to work at one of the Ebola centers. Okay, and that was something that really moved me in my work.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your family. What are they like? Do they all live in Monrovia? How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I come from central Liberia, somewhere we call Banga. That's in Bon County. I come from a family of 6 children. My father is deceased, and my mother is in America. I happen to be the oldest child. And so for my own family, my wife and kids are in Banga, and I'm in Monrovia because of the job. And at the moment I have 3 children. But then, the extended family line, I have like 9 dependents at my home. That's it about my family. They're all going to school, and I think all is well.
What state does your mom live in?
What did they say? She moved further down somewhere to the coldest area. I forgot the name. I just can't remember.
The coldest area?
Yeah, one of the coldest areas. She said it was mostly a white community.
Interesting.
I just don't remember the name.
How long has she lived in the U.S.?
She's been there like 3-4 years now.
Okay. What about your children? Do you have boys? Do you have girls?
Oh yeah, I have 2 girls, 1 boy.
Okay. What would you say is a common misconception that people have about Liberian culture?
Misconception?
Yeah, maybe something that you've noticed people who aren't from Liberia seem to think about Liberia or before they come here?
Uh, what can I say there? There's just a lot of rumors and myths that people carry. But knowing Liberia and knowing the Liberians, I think we are mostly hospitable. And it's difficult to see a Liberian thinking negatively. For us, I think we have open arms. And I don't see a great attachment to anything that is negative. And so most of the stories we hear will just be rumors and myths that people carry.
What kinds of rumors or myths do you think that people have?
For example, there are people who do not understand the culture well, and they would say, the culture is bad, so negative, this and this is done there, and it harms it. And for our traditional people, they take their culture, especially for the Sandy and Polon societies, they feel strongly about these societies. And because it's like when you're born, you are into it. And so you see a good number of Liberians that are traditionalists and believe in those traditions. So people who aren't part of it will also think negative about it and say, oh, it's dangerous. Even though some of the practices can be harmful, but I think they're trying to improve upon some of these things. And for us, like in the bush, they call it the bush school. The same way you see other people going to regular school. If these girls are going to the bush, they are trained to become good housewives, good mothers. And so these are roles they will have to play in the future to be some kind of good wife. But other people will think negatively about this, so these are some of the myths people will have.
Okay.
But otherwise, I think it's good.
Can you tell us something about your life in Liberia that you think would surprise our viewers?
Hi. Liberia is it's a country to visit. It's a country to be. Though we're developing, but Liberians feel strongly that the sky is the limit. And if anybody who visits Liberia will always want to come back here because, firstly, the climatic condition is good. The people are very welcoming. Hospitality is seriously on our list. And so I would say Liberia is a great place to be.
Can you tell me a little bit more about the weather climate? What do you mean when you say that climate is hospitable?
Oh yeah, we have two major seasons here, our rainy and dry season. And other people in other countries will not experience what we are experiencing. And because of the climatic condition, our crops are able to grow. You have time for this crop to grow during the rain. You have time for another crop to grow during the dry. And all of this, because of this kind of climatic condition, it makes the country great.
Uh-huh. Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Binda, for your time. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more from you in future episodes. Thanks.
You're welcome.